give you a rundown of where various projects are. Ivan 2104, that's Sean's Lotus Signet wagon. That car, we've done some work to it. Everything is pretty much ironed out. We're not done with it, obviously. There's a lot more to do and a lot more going on, but we do have kind of a cousin to that project that we have to go take care of very soon. In fact, next weekend. So we expect to put together a fairly sizable video on that if everything goes well, and you guys will be the first to see it. We have the Bobcat wagon, which its name is up for review. There's been some good input from a number of our followers over on the Facebook page, and we'll put something together. We'll figure out what we're going to call that thing. We had called it the Banana Wagon because it was yellow when it showed up. I power polished it a little bit. Turns out it's green, lime green. Check the paint code too, green. Jesse had brought that over last weekend. We had hoped to film a video where we installed a fuel tank and actually drove the vehicle because the original fuel tank is perforated with rust. So Sean had special ordered one from Spectra, which is in Canada and builds fuel tanks for nearly all OEM applications. And it took a special order, a bit of time. They built one, they sent it to us. It was damaged in shipping. It had to go back. And then a replacement showed up. And when the replacement showed up, well, winter had struck and everything was kind of where it was going to sit for the winter. Everything was parked or placed away, and we focused heavily on the Ivan project because it was what was accessible. So last weekend, as I said, Jesse brought up the Bobcat wagon, was on a trailer, and he shows up and he says, well, it doesn't run. And that was a problem because when we put the car together in the fall, it ran. You guys seen it on the video, and it ran really well. It's the best running 2.3 liter Ford I've ever seen, and we've probably had 18 or 20 different examples of those engines in the project on and off over the years. So the Duraspark ignition had failed. Jesse picked up a new one, we installed that, and then we got it running. Well, then the vehicle wouldn't go into gear. So you shut the engine off, it would go into any gear you liked, but with the engine running, you push the clutch in, you could not get it into any of the gears. There's something going on there. Well, we found out the clutch had seized to the flywheel during winter storage. So dealing with that took quite a bit of time until finally Sean arrived, and we told him what was going on, and he came up with an idea. He said, basically, put the car in gear, we had it all strapped down to the trailer, and crank it over, and allow the torque of the engine to lock up the wheels to break the clutch free from the flywheel. Good idea. Honestly, I hadn't thought of it, and it's a stellar idea because it's way better than trying to separate it and fix it. So we did it in first gear. The car did a little burnout on the trailer. That didn't work. So we ended up placing it in fourth gear, and then we were able to break it free and get it off the trailer. This entire process between showing up on the trailer, fixing the ignition, monkeying around with the clutch, and getting the car running took about 4 or 5 hours. We weren't working really hard at it, but it did take some time. Threw timelines off quite heavily, hence why there's no video on it. So once we got the vehicle off the trailer and into the shop, up in the air, everything was going well. We took the old tank out, which was no big deal. The bolts weren't rusted, the straps were in good shape, pulled it down, pulled the new one out of the box, and immediately realized they weren't the same at all. So the one that was supplied to us through Spectra had been specified for a Mercury Bobcat Villager, which is the wagon, correct numbers, everything like that. The one that showed up is for a hatchback. Junk. It won't work. The spare tire well's in a different spot. The tanks are just completely different in size, shape, layout. We would have to basically take a plasma torch to the floor and cobble this thing together. So Sean took that back, went back to the manufacturer, and there is simply no fuel tank available in existence for this car. So what we have to do now is patch the original fuel tank, which is perforated with little tiny rust holes. Sean's got a strategy for that. We'll show that to you in an upcoming video because it does work, and it will get you home if you're in a bad spot, or in the case where they don't manufacture fuel tanks anymore, this may be the only thing that puts a car back on the road. And this exact problem may be the reason why the car went to the crusher in the first place. Obviously, this vehicle had a leaking fuel tank, and if there's none available, chances are, what do you do? If it doesn't hold fuel, you can't drive it. You can't have a soda bottle under the hood like we have to drive long distances. It's obviously not safe, although it might be safer than the legendary Pinto fires and placing the fuel tank in the conventional spot, but who knows? So that could be the reason why the car was destined for the crusher anyway, despite being largely in pretty good shape, especially for its year. So we'll follow up on that a little later. With my Shelby GT500, one of our longtime subscribers has requested to know more about that car. So what we'll do is we'll put together an overview on that, some of its history, even though it is, well, to me, I still think of it as a brand new car, but it's 2009 model year, so it's 8 years old now. That car has an interesting history. Basically, I bought it new off the lot, and I used it exactly the way that I envisioned it should have been used. I certainly didn't hold it in a garage and keep it climate controlled and bubble wrapped and try and preserve it for the future. We also have a couple other projects to introduce. We have Jesse's 1994 Mustang GT, which is yellow. It has a name. It's been named for a very long time. It's called Yellow Bastard, which is partly based off of James Dean's Porsche 918, which was Little Bastard, I recall. And Jesse's car, because it's yellow, is simply called Yellow Bastard, kind of a play on that. But I named that car a long time ago when it gave me some hardship in the garage, and I'll cover that again at a later date. But we have to feature that car. That was part of the project. It was our junkyard drag car build where the car wasn't from the junkyard, but every single part on it was either a hand-me-down or cheap or found in the junkyard and hot rodded to work. Try and make the most amount of power, the best drag strip performance we could on the smallest budget possible. There's also my 1995 Mustang GTS, which I've written a little about over on the website. If you haven't seen the website, it's www.gtconcepts.ca. And that car is my very first V8 Mustang and has been in the project since 2003. Started as a dead stock vehicle with 132,000 kilometers. I've had it since then, and it's about 200,000 kilometers on the original short block. And that car, again, has been used very well. Not abused, well, 3 years of nitrous, but not abused, and it's held up really well, and it's also brought years of enjoyment. So we'll touch on that car and show what's going on with it. We have a few other little odd ducks. Matt Pluey's Solex, we're going to do a video that features that. That's a moped. If you haven't seen his article, again, that's over at gtconcepts.ca. Give that a look. That's a really rare and unique French 1960s moped. And it is utter simplicity. It's literally an engine that sits on top of the front tire and tractors it along. So we'll do a video that features that, and we'll also introduce Matt Pluey to you guys of the internet as a live action character.